Welcome back, everyone. So today I'm finally getting around to showing you guys the books that I had picked out for the 12 by 12 challenge. So if you aren't familiar with the 12 by 12 challenge, basically at the beginning of the year, there's this little prompt that goes around in the community of pick 12 books for me to read. So it's basically for the year. It's basically a book a month kind of thing. And usually people ask their friends or followers, things like that. So obviously that was going around at the beginning of the year and everybody was into it and I was like, oh, I want to try it too. And since I'm more active in Discord servers now, which by the way, I still have yet to tell you guys, I am now on Bookish Chaz's Discord, which is now called the Dragon's Den, and it consists of Bookish Chaz, Drew's book reviews, Book Kara, and myself. So I will leave a link for the Discord down below. I am very late with telling you guys this. It happened, I want to say it like last month in February, but yeah. So if any of you guys ever want to chat with me on Discord, you guys can find me there. I'll have it linked down below. But there's my official announcement of, hey guys, I'm in a Discord. But I am also in another Discord that I actively take part in from another booktuber. And so I figure, you know what? Let me try my hand at this 12 by 12 challenge. The only thing is, instead of just letting people pick random books for me, I took pictures of my bookshelves, and at the time, I had turned around all the books that I had already read. That way, what was showing was books that were unread. And I asked everybody in the Discord to pick out a book, and I would put it in the challenge, because that would also keep me on top of trying to read down my TBR, because if we all remember, my physical TBR of, stuff I own is around 500 books that are unread. Out of the 800 I own, so I'm sitting at like 41% of my book collection read, but I decided to do it this way. That way it would not cause me to have to go buy new books or get books from the library, and it would just help me tackle what was on my shelves. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's go through the 12 books that were picked. If I've read any of them yet, have I started? Am I behind? What's going on? Now, the first pile that I'm going to start with come from the other Discord that I am in, and that would be Trinity's over at Portable Magic, her Discord. I am in that one, and so these first round of books come from there because that was the first place I posted it, and quite a few of them that I talk with in there picked out some books. So I'm not going to give any names for any of them because I don't want to release anybody's information if they don't want it out there, since I have come to the conclusion a lot of them are just kind of readers or just other people who have joined the Discord, and so I don't want to step over any toes or anything. But I will at least say Trinity over at Portable Magic did pick one of these out for me. I do have another pile that are by other reviewers and whatnot that have picked out books, but we'll get to there. Anyways, so the first one is, of course, like I said, I will start with Trinity's pick, and she picked The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. So this was actually a series that I have had on my radar for a couple of years, and I didn't get it until Broken Binding did these editions, and these is actually one of the better editions that I like that I have from them, because I do have their sub. But this is one she picked. I'm very excited. It's also a little intimidating because it is a very well loved series. I also haven't read a lot of nautical related stories, unless they're pirate related or historically pirate related and such, and usually that's on my own time. So definitely looking forward to this one. I don't know what to expect from it, but I am thinking I'm gonna enjoy it a ton, like I said, because I previously wanted this before Broken Binding did these editions, so this actually just worked in my favor. But this is what Trinity picked for me. And the next one that comes from the Discord was Among Thieves by MJ Kuhn. So this was actually one that I received in my Goldsboro last year, I believe. Or was it the year before? I think it was last year. 2021. So I received this in 2021 of Goldsboro. Oh my goodness. Wow. And it was actually one that was never on my radar, but because I received it in the subscription, I went ahead and held on to it. I have heard some good things about it. It does involve heists and assassins, I think. I might be wrong on that next one, but I do believe there's like a heist that goes on with it. But yeah, it was picked out. The one who picked it said that I believe they said they enjoyed it. So we'll see. I don't have the sequel, so because I never got around to purchasing the sequel, and I don't think Goldsboro actually did a matching for the sequel. So if I do end up liking it and want the sequel, I'll just have two unmatching ones, I believe. The next one that was picked out was Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham. So I've actually never read anything by this author, and I am aware of the fact that this is the author who does the duo for the Leviathan Wakes series, which I own the first book of that, and I've never read it either. But this is one that I was interested in, and it happened to have come in for the Goldsboro subscription service, so I was like, cool, awesome. But obviously never gotten around to starting it yet, so we'll see if I end up liking this one. I believe it is one of two sci-fis that were picked, so that's actually not bad, but I also don't own a lot of sci-fi. So then we have The Witch and the Tsar by Olesya Stanikova Gilmore. So this was another Goldsboro, but it is one I was interested in, and so I got excited when it was picked for Goldsboro. But it's a retelling of Baba Yaga, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yes. Yeah, it deals with Baba Yaga. Yeah, it deals with Baba Yaga. I like the idea of Baba Yaga. I enjoy stories. I noticed there's kind of been like an uptick in more like Baba Yaga related stories, so I think that's fun. So I am actually kind of glad that this was picked. So I am looking forward to this one. So hopefully fingers crossed, that I follow through with reading these books for this 12 by 12. Then we have Sister Song by Lucy Holland, another one that came in with my Goldsboro subscription, but I have heard a lot of good things about this one. It is based off of a British folk song, I believe, and it has some more, I believe it has LGBTQ representation inside of it. I'm not 100% positive on that, but I'm pretty sure it does. But I have heard a lot of good things about this, and I do look forward to it. Yeah, and also I'm not familiar with the song that it's based off of, so I am kind of looking forward to just kind of like being introduced to like something new and seeing what the author does with it. And then if I end up liking it, then I'll probably consider getting their next one, because they have Song of the Huntress coming out this year, and that alone sounds interesting, like the title. I'm like, that sounds interesting. But I've never read Lucy Holland, so I don't know. I don't want to just like jump the gun. So we'll see. Now this next one is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. So this is the biggest one that was picked. I also realized when I pulled it off my shelf, I have the books in the wrong order. Yay, I'm so smart. Like you can see them up there. I think they're still in the wrong order. I think I have them backwards. But anyways, yeah, this one was picked. It is intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. Even before I got because these are the Broken Binding editions, even before I got these in from Broken Binding, I had wanted to read the series, but I was like, oh, that looks so intimidating. And I've heard mixed reviews about it. Some people like really love it, and a lot of people really hate it. I don't really seem to see a lot of people like in the middle, but I have seen some where like they loved the beginning and then they hated the end, or they hated the beginning and they loved the end. So it's a very mixed kind of fantasy series, and I've never read anything by Islington, so we'll see. It is the biggest one, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys right now. I'm more than likely gonna like put it off, even though it is part of the challenge because it was picked for me. I will probably kind of avoid it because it's so big. It's possible. Like, I'm just being honest. Then after that, we have Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. So I have actually started this one. So far, I'm enjoying it. It is YA. I do have a love-hate relationship with YA, so I hope it continues being interesting. because if it is, then yay, I get to keep this beautiful book, because guys, that cover art is so gorgeous. And then I'd have to buy the second one to match it, obviously. Plus it would be like the sequel, like duh. But yes, I have started it. I am enjoying it so far, and we'll see. So far out of these 12 by 12 books, I have started one. We're 3 months into the year and I have started one. So now the next couple of ones, they come from actual other bloggers, so I will put their names down just because they're other bloggers, they're out there. But this first one is Threadneedle by Carrie Thomas, and this was recommended to me. This was picked by the Shaggy Shepherd, and I have read the novella, The Hedge Witch, that comes like before this, and I enjoyed it. So I do have an interest of continuing on. Initially, when I got it in, because it is a Goldsboro edition, surprisingly, a lot of my special editions were picked out for this challenge. But when it initially came in, I was like on the fence because I'd never heard of it. And that's one of the things I do like about Goldsboro. Some of their picks I've never heard of, and they're just like, hey, this is a special edition. And I'm like, I've never heard of it, but okay, cool, sounds fun. I do appreciate that. But that's what this was. But like I said, I ended up buying the novella just because it said it was part of the series, and I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it very much. I liked her writing. So it takes place in the same world. I believe it follows the same character, so I am looking forward to seeing what happens in this. So that's really cool. But yeah, that Threadneedle. I don't really see anyone talk about that one either. So this next one, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This one was picked out by Nicole over at Nicole's Bookish Nook. And this is one of those ones where, again, very mixed reviews on it. I bought the whole set in one go about 2 years ago, I think. And ever since I bought it, I've seen nothing but mixed, like, opinions on it. Like, and one of the things that has actually stood out the most to me is a lot of people are like, Rin is horrible. Like, she's just so terrible to follow. Like, nobody seems to like this person. And I'm like, oh my God, are they that bad? So, like, I'm partly intrigued because I want to know why everybody seems to just not like Rin. But at the same time, I'm also, like, scared because I'm like, what if I don't like Rin and I don't want to read it and I have the whole freaking set? What the heck? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It'll be my first book by Kuang because her other two books I actually am not really interested in. This is the only series by her that I am interested in. So fingers crossed that, like, I do end up liking it, because it would suck to, like, get rid of the whole set, but we'll see what happens. And then this next one was recommended by Chaz over at Bookish Chaz. And it is The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. This is one of his favorite series. So the minute he saw it on my shelf, he was like, The Ninth Reign, that's the one. That's the one you gotta read. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything about this series. All I know is it was a big deal when Broken Binding did these hardbacks, because it's the first time it's ever been in hardback. And apparently the series, like, isn't even released out here in the US or something like that. I don't really know the whole intricacies of it all, but it was a big deal. Everybody was like, oh yes, let's go. And obviously Chaz was happy about it. He does have the set too. He got really lucky with how he got his set. But this is the one he picked. I'm looking for. I trust Chaz. I trust his opinion. And if he says I'll most likely enjoy this, I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it. So definitely looking forward to this one at some point. The goal is for this year. Now, these last two are from people that I personally know my whole life, or their whole life. So first we have Queens of the Word by Tamandra Whitecastle. This was picked out by my bestie, because I sent her the picture and I was like, pick a book, and she was like, that queen one, that one with the ladies who fight, like, and I was like, you got it, because this has been billed as, if you love Kings of the Wild, boom. Like, it's the female version essentially, but it also has moms. And as a mom myself, and as the fact that Kings of the Wild is my favorite book of all time, yes. And the thing is I have been putting this off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. So this will hopefully be the year that I stop putting it off and just read it already and see if it lives up to what everybody has told me. Because everyone who knows that like I like Kings of the Wild, they're like, oh, you should read this one because it's like the same but different. And I was like, okay, but I'm also scared because, you know, like I said, Kings of the Wild is my favorite. It's kind of like I don't like when people say, oh, this book is like Kirky, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, don't compare everything to my favorite books. Stop, because then I'm gonna judge them super hard. Or Circe, sorry, not everybody knows it as Kirky, but Circe by Madeline Miller. That's one of my other favorites. I don't like when books get comped to that. Anyways, back to this. The last book on this challenge is Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell, and my daughter picked this one out. I showed her the pictures to make it easier because we were both just in the bedroom chilling, and I was like, I need one more book. Can you pick one? And she, just based off of the spines, she was like, that one, the blue one. And I was like, Winter's Orbit? And she goes, yeah, it's blue, it's pretty. And I was like, okay. So Winter's Orbit it is. I've heard this is one of those ones where you like it, you love it. That's like that. It's like that with so many books. You know, when you really think about it, you like it, you love it. You like it, you love it. Like, that's just kind of how it is. But it's another one where I don't really hear too many people talk about it. I see it come up more so in the romance sphere, but it's not a romance. It just has a romance in it. But it's like a space opera thing. And I do know that the two love interests, that the romance does revolve around two boys. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, doesn't bother me, whatever. Like, sounds interesting. And I thought the cover was really pretty. That's ultimately why I bought it. Like, I bought it before I knew anything about it because I was like, that cover is really pretty, bro. And then it sat on my shelf ever since I bought it. Like everything else I own. So this is the one she ended up picking up. So we'll see. I have a feeling I will definitely get to this one because it looks fairly small. Doesn't seem like it'll be too difficult to get through. So out of these 12 books, I have only started one. I'm on a roll. I got this in the bag, you guys. Because like I said, technically you're supposed to read one of these a month. Like, it's supposed to be part of your TBR. And I have like added them to my TBRs because for the first 2 months I actually kept my TBR secret. I'm not always going to give that to you guys. That's just a personal choice. But then for March, I added the Six of Crows ones. But I've been attempting. I've been trying. So I might end up reading 2 of these in a month, 3 in a month, maybe none. We'll see. But the goal is to hopefully read them by the end of the year and then have those 12 books like off of my TBR list and everything. But that's the point of the challenge. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a nice, simple, easy challenge, just a book a month kind of thing, as long as you stay on top of it, which I am not doing because I'm so good. But yeah. That is me finally bringing you guys my 12 by 12 challenge, like picks and everything. It's only taken me till March. So those are the picks. If you guys enjoyed this, like, subscribe, all those great things. I would love to hear your comments if you guys have read any of these books, if you think they're worth my time, if you don't think they're worth my time, because, you know, I like people's opinions. I like hearing what you guys have to say. So until next time, bye.